The meeting of the Shreveport City Council is now called to order. Councilman Bradford will give the invocation, and Councilman Corbin, lead us in the pledge.
I tell the chairman that when you're talking to the mayor, you hold up the meeting. But anyway, thank you. Let us pray. Gracious Father, we come again thanking you for this opportunity of your blessings to transact the business for this city. As we come, Father, we ask your blessings upon the mayor and upon this council. We ask that you would direct us in all that we do, so that what we do here would be pleasing in your sight and beneficial to the citizens of this city. We thank you for your blessings, and Lord, we pray that when we leave here that we would be pleasant in the eyesight of this city in all that we have done today. It is in thy name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilman Bradford.
Present.
Councilman Everson.
Here.
Councilman Jenkins.
Present.
Councilman Corbin.
Present.
Councilman Corbin. Councilwoman Lynch. Here. And Councilman Bowman.
Here. Tomorrow we entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the administrative conference last meeting. Any awards or recognition of distinguished guests by the mayor?
None today.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any council member?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I do have somebody. I'm sorry. I am currently trying to forward her an email. But I do have a constituent, Miss Ashley Ortega, I'd like to invite up. Ms. Ortega had made some contact, and y'all may have heard from her about a meeting that we have after this. It looks like maybe she has stepped out of the chamber for a moment.
You want to yield to Councilman Bradford and then?
Yeah. If y'all could come back, that'd be great.
Councilman Bradford?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to express some communication through appreciations, and that is that to the council, especially to the mayor, for your kindness, thoughts and prayers expressed to my family during the illness and the passing of my mother. I think I heard from each council member as well as many of you here today. I was excited and very pleased, and my family was as well, to see the mayor to come to the funeral and give her expressions as well as the proclamation. We understood later that she cut her vacation short to come, which I thought was a very tribute to her, because I guess her cohort on the council as well as to my family, that she would do that. But I wanted to say yes to the council clerk and to the council office for what they did, their presence and the flowers that they sent, as well as Councilwoman Lynch, who sent some beautiful flowers to acknowledge and to share her condolences to the family. So thank you all for your prayers and for your thoughts. We still dealing with that death, and just ask your continuous prayers to me and my family. We love you and we appreciate you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Councilman.
And is Ashley Ortega back in the room?
No.
I don't see her yet. If the council would be okay with it, I may call her up at the end of the meeting. And I don't want to hold us up, but this is a constituent who primarily has been communicating with her County Parish Commissioner, but she has invited us to a meeting to discuss some public safety issues, and I have not had the opportunity to talk with her too much, but I did recently make contact with her to find out a little bit about what her concerns were, and so hopefully we'll find out a little later, and I will keep everybody apprised.
Okay. No problem. Mr. Green? Anybody questions or concerns of property standards?
That is her, yeah.
You send me an email back. watch yourself. If I like you, I don't press that button, but, you know, that's just what happens.
We updated the inspections. The demolition is already in the process. So just basically, the ball is back to rolling. When Mr. Forger retired, it sat for a little bit, but it's now updated and it is in the demolition process.
Okay, thank you.
I got two, but I can discuss with you after. Just make sure I see you after the
Okay.
meeting.
I was going to ask you, are you talking about the ones on Portland that you have some, I had some inquiries about?
No, sir. No, sir.
Anyway, I have two, I'm going to send you the photos and the addresses.
Okay.
And they're really horrible. The candidates that are not already on the list for demolition,
Portland, right off of Laurel.
between Bessie Street and maybe West College.
Right.
You familiar with those
Yes.
structures? Okay. Anyway, I got inquiries from some neighbors that they really should be going because they're so eyesores.
Gotcha.
But anyway, I send those and maybe get a reply from you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Mr. Green? No. Thank you.
All right.
See you after. Ms. Ortega?
Yeah, she's here now. If we could call up Miss Ashley Ortega.
Thank you.
State your name and address, please, Ms. Ortega.
Ashley Ortego, 3884 Fairfield Avenue.
Say the last name again.
Ortego, you run it all
Ortego.
together. I just wanted to let y'all know that there's a meeting in the back chambers at 6 p.m. today about crime in District 5, and everybody's invited to attend.
In the back chambers, where's?
Back here?
Mhm.
At 6 p.m.
Yes, sir.
All right. Public safety?
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Chairman, exactly, and I'm familiar with Howard Council District. District 5 consists of what area?
It's a commission
It's
meeting.
Yeah, Commission of District 5 is what
Oh,
area?
sorry. District B.
Well, it's
Right.
a little bit of District B, a little bit of District C, and
Does it go into five? Mike, are you up?
might go into District D as well.
You're all six? Then it's just Jeff and I.
Okay. But it's sort of the southern part of my district, Matthew Lynn. It's sort of the southern part of my district and the northern part of Oliver's district.
And in this
I think
meeting is being convened by
Gerald
the
has
administration.
half of
Five
parts of
commission.
5.
Does he?
If it's District 5, Gerald has parts of 5.
He's not saying commission. You say commission District 5 or police?
Police District 5.
Police.
Police District.
I got it.
Yeah. The Caddo Parish Commissioner for the area is Matthew Lynn.
I got it.
Right.
Okay,
So it is Matthew Lynn's meeting
meeting
about public safety in the city of
in the
Shreveport.
city of Shreveport at 6 o'clock.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, thank you. I'm assuming there's going to be some money coming with it. I'm going to wait for that. I mean, I'm assuming there's some reason he's interested in this.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I'm excited to hear that because we do have some great news. However, I won't be able to attend, but the deputy police chief will be there with the, I guess, CLO from that area. And we're going to be there to give some reports and also to respond to any issues.
And that's at 6 p.m. today, right?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Crawford, you have a revenue collection plan and implement.
Next council meeting, Mr. Chairman, first council meeting of every month, along with a surety bond from the
He's
city
new.
attorney's office.
He's new. Give
I'm
him a
just
little-
making
No,
sure.
no, no,
Give
no.
it a
give him a
second.
little time.
Not at all.
First.
Remember those scripts and the chairman's script, there are things
It's
where
from
like
the- from the
reports,
last
like things that
report.
happen some meetings and not every meeting, don't exactly look like that on the script.
I got it now. Public hearing tomorrow?
I have a question. On our previous conversation about police districts, is there a map on the website that shows each police district?
Yes, yeah, it's on the PD
From
website,
the
yeah.
SPD.
Okay, that's where I am. I was just trying to find it.
Mr. Chairman, yes, there will be a public hearing tomorrow on resolution number 4 of 2018, resolutions to amend resolution number 110 of 2017, reflecting City of Shreveport's endorsement of Market Street Shreveport LLC to participate in the benefits of Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program.
And legislation to the agenda. Don't have any confirmation of
Not-
appointments.
I'm not aware of any items to add to the agenda, no confirmations or appointments, Mr. Chair.
Don't have any public comments. Okay.
See, if I bang on this loud enough, it's going to pick it up in the mic, and then they're going to come without me asking for a little IT support. That's my theory. It hasn't really worked yet, but
They'd have to be able to hear you come out and give you support.
I would like some IT support, please.
Any resolutions or ordinances to adopt?
We're under consent agenda legislation, Mr. Chairman, and no introduction of ordinances or resolutions, but we will be adopting Resolution Number 5, authorizes the mayor to accept an in-kind donation of 15 2018 Trek Police bicycles valued at $23,673.60 from the North Shreveport Business Association Foundation and the Willis Knighton Medical Center to the City of Shreveport Police Department, and to execute the act of acceptance.
Is there an extra one of those? Those must be pretty nice bikes.
They're nice
I
bikes.
just use simple marine math, but if Willis Knighton has another one of those sitting around, I'd be delighted to take it.
Get in line.
Okay.
You can ride on the new bike trail.
I would try out the new trail. I mean, that could be kind of a useful feature for the city council.
They appear to be valued at more than probably the current value of my car.
Mr. Crawford, please proceed.
Yes, sir. We're on resolutions on second reading and final passage, or which will require only one reading. Resolution number 4 authorizes the use of certain equipment by Sports Spectrum Race Management. Resolution number 4 amends Resolution number 110 of 2017, reflecting the City of Shreveport's endorsement of Market Street Shreveport LLC to participate in the benefits of the Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program. Resolution 6 dedicates the 2200 block of David Raines Road to Pastor Benjamin D. Blake in recognition of his extraordinary accomplishments and service to the citizens of the city, state, and nation. Resolution number 7 extends the expiration date prescribed in Section 16.3G of the Unified Development Code for the approval of the special use permits in zoning case number C-102-17 for the property at 327 Kings Highway. And then Resolution 8 authorizes the mayor to waive the background check fees for high school students enrolled in the Nursing Assistance Program at the Caddo Career and Technology Center in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Any discussion? Mr. Crawford, proceed with the introduction of ordinance.
Yes, sir. Gotta catch up with myself. Introduction of ordinances. Amending ordinance number 3 amends the 2018 budget for Community Development Special Revenue Fund. This is $36,500 for the Queensboro Neighborhood Association, which we were court assumed the care of to take care of that property and for some of the repairs there too. Amendment number ordinance 4 amends the City of Shreveport, Louisiana 2018 Grant Special Revenue Fund budget. This accepts a ICE grant for $30,000 for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security. This is just for human trafficking, drug dealing, and not deportation. Just wanted to make that clear. Number 5, ordinance number 5, adding, amending, and reenacting certain provisions of Chapter 10 of the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Code of Ordinances relative to revising and adding new definitions and allowing certain business types to apply for and obtain an attached microbrewery or microdistillery alcohol permit. Ordinance number 6 amends the 2018 Street Special Revenue Fund budget. This is a companion to Ordinance number 7 to place funds. Ordinance number 6 places $356,783 into the Knight Street project. That was a 2011 bond project. And Ordinance number 7 accepts that $356,783 and also adds to that amount for a total of $652,783, all coming from the Street Special Revenue Fund. Ordinance number 8 is a zoning case number C-1-18. This is an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the northeast corner of Hearn Avenue and Essex Street, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R17 Single Family Residential District to C2 Corridor Commercial District.
Councilman Jenkins.
On ordinance 5, did that go through Public Safety Committee, or Jeff, did you have input, or where?
I've been working on that with the city attorney's office, and here's what that is attempting to do is that, when we did our definitions in the new Unified Development Code, the state was kind of solidifying their way that they categorize different operations. We really didn't use the right nomenclature for some of the like what we have identified as microbreweries, microdistilleries, et cetera. The state considers them all manufacturers, but they do have a different definition, which is for like a restaurant that it has to be a restaurant or a bar. They're permitted, whatever their primary thing is, but then they can have an additional permit to make their own beer or make their own wine or whatever on site, but they wouldn't be allowed to sell it to a distributor. So it's a distinction between what we have and what is there, but something that the state allows, and this puts us in alignment with that and allows us to be able to do what the state already permits. It just kind of clarifies that for us.
Okay, and so
And we do, by the way, have at least one applicant who's interested in seeing this happen relatively soon. So they did ask for it and pointed out to us that it wasn't that it was missing in our definitions. And so the legal city attorney's office did the homework to find out and make these proposals.
And obviously, it's for the two major ones, it works for both of them, I guess. Right?
Yeah, it would apply to anyone who's wanting to do this. I mean, it's just that somebody who were to fall under this classification would no longer be able to sell, their product through a distributor. So it's a different type of classification. It may not appeal to every manufacturer. I mean, you wouldn't be able to be a manufacturer anymore. You would just be able to sell your product on site. So you wouldn't be able to sell it through a distribution
so it
company.
eliminates the ability for one of them who, because you get businesses involved here, but so there's somebody that is a beer and wine, the largest here in town, distributes beer and wine. And he does distribute for one of the true microbrews here.
Mm-hmm.
But if they decided to go for this ordinance, then they would have to eliminate that relationship if they wanted to.
Well, let's take if there was a business model of somebody who's currently a manufacturer,
Right.
but they were finding that their sales were not, through their manufactured sales, that was not as much a part of their business model as what they thought they would be able to do as a regular restaurant that just made their own beer too, and was
Gotcha.
looking to switch their model from a production facility to more of a restaurant that happened to make their own product in-house.
There's a volume associated.
There's a volume associated
I
and
read
a set
the
of
ordinance.
state regulations that mimics to identify the difference between the two.
Okay. And then, since we got this deal about alcohol stuff tomorrow anyways, but I do want to ask, has anybody been there, City Attorney or Karen, have y'all been to Pizza Rev? That's the one that I've noticed most recently.
I've not been there yet. I plan
Okay.
to go tonight, actually.
They have a restaurant part where they serve beer, and then they have a bar where it's a bar. In our state law, it must be state law because it doesn't seem to be any of our city laws. What's the distinction? Is there any distinction of who can be in either one of those sides?
If you're in a bar, you have to be 21.
Okay, so like Key Mexico is another one that's got a very similar arrangements. What precludes somebody under the age of 21 from taking a right instead of going into the left?
I think the entire building is classified as a restaurant, though. It's
It
not.
depends on
at the bar.
depends
It
on
depends
their
on your
sales level and what they're licensed as.
Right.
But same with the pizza.
So I would think Pizza Rev is licensed as a restaurant,
Oh,
meaning
absolutely,
that
absolutely.
a certain percentage of their sales has to come from food.
food sales.
So from my understanding, any visitor to that place could walk in either area.
So a child can can a child sit at a bar in the state of Louisiana?
Not again, a restaurant may have a bar area in it, but it's not a bar under Louisiana law. A bar strictly sells alcohol. That's the majority of their sales. And so you have to be 21 to go into a bar, but not 21 to go. Like you can go into an Applebee's. It's a restaurant that has a bar area, but there's no conclusion,
sit
as
at
far
the-
as I know, to stop to actually have a child under 21 in the bar area of an Applebee's because it's a restaurant.
I mean, the Cub is a restaurant.
But it depends on their sales. Again, it depends.
Well, the
That's a bad example,
The
because
Cub
they're-
restaurant and the Cub bar are separate ownerships.
Okay, so that's bad. That was realized.
Two different licensing.
But let's use Key Mexico. So you're saying And I mean, these are all great restaurants for anybody listening out there that I'm.
Sounds like some great bars you know about.
No, but I'm trying to understand when it comes to this discussion, can somebody under the age of 21 sit at the bar at Key Mexico or sit at the bar in, your answer is yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
That's it. Councilwoman Lynch.
Yes, I had a question on the Ninth Street improvement ordinance. Why is that being recommended?
The bids that came in on Ninth Street, the original money that was appropriated was $3.5 million. After engineering and service fees, we have $3.1 million left in that account. The low bid that we received was $3,872,000, and then we got that down to $3,752,783 with some different rock usage in there. And so you have a difference of $652,783. And engineering feels like when the original engineering was done on that street for $3.5 million back in 2010 probably, the cost associated with it now that $3.8 million bid is actually a good bid. It was the low bid, and that we do have funds available in the Street Special Revenue Fund and another capital project that aren't being used, and it would allow us to facilitate getting that road done as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And Councilman Bradford.
Yeah, Councilman, before I just pull up, I could not pull up ordinance 3, and I wasn't familiar with, what was it again, sir?
Let me go back, Mr. Chairman.
Community
Yeah.
development, Queensboro.
Yes.
Yeah, ask about that. Yeah, about news, or ask about that one.
Queensboro Neighborhood Association, Bonnie can come up here and explain this to you, but this used to be a private venture from Queensboro Neighborhood Association. I think some funding came through there from the city, but apparently the association who ran it had not been doing so, and the court awarded its, I guess, just management to the city. I'll let Bonnie explain it to you.
About 5 years ago, the Queensboro Neighborhood Association stopped doing business. As a result of that, there was nobody managing the facility. Rent was not being collected.
By those housing?
Yes,
Okay.
on Missouri. It was not being maintained. Because we had a financial interest in it, we sought through the courts. We were trying to get ownership of it so that we could dispose of the property. Because we did not own it, they only gave us management oversight in time enough for the board to reconvene to properly dispose of the property. That has not occurred over the last 5 years. We've been spending our dollars to maintain it. We've been collecting rent, and over 5 years we've only collected about $36,000. It's primarily because it's a low to moderate income facility. The highest rent does not go up to $200 a month, and it's only about 6 units. And so as a result of that, it's been very difficult for us to maintain. We're trying to work through that. We're trying to figure out a way to reconvene the board. That's the most expeditious way to do it. But again, most of them are no longer participating as a part of the board. Some are now deceased. It's just been a very difficult thing to do.
Okay. So the option is that this legislation does what?
It just gives us money. We won't have to use our dollars. We can use the money from the rent, and we can use those monies to make some repairs.
And within the structure of the agreement with the federal government, that's allowable?
Yes, it's not considered program income.
Okay.
Rent proceeds are not, and we can use them at our discretion.
Okay. Now, I am familiar with, while I was not on the board, but I'm familiar with some of those individuals. As far as you know, the organizations have not been defunct to the extent that they cannot temporarily have a meeting to dissolve the property.
That may be a legal question, but it is my understanding that they have not been filing their state. And so
They haven't filed any type of organizational forms, but I'm asking, Ms. Moore said that if the board could somehow reconvene and transact the business, then that may clear the city a way of maybe obtaining the property. Is that?
I don't want to get too deep into their board operations, but if it were an active board that were in good standing with the Secretary of State and had the capacity to either divest itself of that ownership interest but I think the main problem right now is actually the people on the board are unavailable, whether they be deceased, whether they're not in contact with the board right now. And so to take an action of that board without dissolving it, that's the question. That's the difficulty.
Let me do this. Let me visit with you, only because I have the building that their corporate building office. Willis Knighton was allowing them to use that. It has since been torn down, so they had nowhere to meet.
Okay.
But I'm familiar with at least the majority that I think are still around that could do something if it was in the best interest of the city for them to resolve their situation, because they're not going to, as it is now. There are some interest from a new group to start a new Queensboro organization, but that's not the group that you've been dealing with.
Right.
So I would speak with you, and then if we can work out a scenario to where we can do something to dispose of it, or you can obtain it as an option to what we are not doing, which is not bad. But like you say, I know for a couple of years they didn't pay no rent.
No
They stuck
water bill
some
or
money
anything.
in the slot at the office, but it wasn't much. So, but they need to bring some structure to it. So I'll get with the attorney and we'll see how we can work out.
We appreciate that very
But
much.
they've been in conversations of starting a new group.
Yeah.
But would they have to have the same? I mean, change. They would have to get new board members because they want to do
The group
it.
that
The
you're
whole
talking about is for Shreveport Progressive Citizens. This is Queensboro Neighborhood Association.
right. That's what I'm saying. But they're talking about forming a new neighborhood association
Right.
with even Demetrius off their group and another the lady who was on the association at one time too,
Yeah.
Miss Henderson.
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying you're right in the sense that there's some organization going on, but I don't think they want to come in and assume the name of the Queensboro Neighborhood Association, which has not been functioning for 5 years. But anyway, but you and I also, Mika, we've been meeting with those guys as well. Okay.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, and I did direct the city attorney this morning to check into the situation,
Yes.
because what the city didn't want to do, I didn't want to do, was to start taking on other folks' properties. We got enough that we need to deal with ourselves without taking on somebody else, but we're having to manage this because of a court order. So when I got the update from staff, I asked Attorney Bradford if he could check to see what we could do so that we would no longer have to be the manager of somebody else's property. We don't want to set a precedent by managing other folks' properties. So once he gets with you all and we can come up with whatever that situation is with the new group so that we can completely step away from it. I don't know how we can do it without going back to the courts. We may have to go back to the court to be able to do it, but I'd like for us to do whatever, because we don't need to manage somebody else's property. We're trying to take care of ours.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll commit, Mayor, that we'll work out whatever scenario we could to advance
Okay.
it and then see where we go from there.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Crawford, would you proceed with the
Yes,
ordinance?
sir. Ordinances on second reading and final passage. Ordinance number 1 amends the 2018 capital improvements budget. This is for Sportran, dedicating $980,000 from the sale proceeds for the Sportran Old Sports Terminal into a capital project to purchase lift line vehicles. Ordinance number 2 is a series ordinance pursuant to the general bond obligation reauthorizing the issuance of not exceeding $20 million principal amount of taxable water and sewer revenue bonds, Series 2018A of the City of Shreveport, State of Louisiana, as provided in the notice of intent given by Resolution Number 38 of 2017, adopted on March 14, 2017, establishing certain details of such bonds as required by the General Bond Ordinance, approving and confirming the sale of such bonds to the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, pledging the net resources of the city's combined water and sewer systems to secure such bonds, prescribing the form and certain terms and conditions of said bonds, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Okay. Any discussion? This was, okay. Mr. Thompson? In the table legislation to be removed.
I'm not aware of it, Mr. Chairman.
I've got, Mr. Chairman, I've got one other thing I need to check on, which I should have by tomorrow, but I believe I'll be making a motion to remove this from the agenda at this time.
Number two?
Tomorrow.
Which one?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. All right. Mr.
Do you have a
Green?
couple of property standards appeals? Mr. Green.
All right. Our first case is 437 Boulevard Street.
And on this one, I'll say, I did hear back from the owner. It took a little bit of back and forth to get us on the phone at the same time. And what he was requesting is something in writing so that he knew when he had met the requirements. And so I reached out to Terrence, who informed me that that letter typically comes from council staff. So I wanted to make sure if I could get a record of what has been sent already. I didn't actually have a physical copy of that. So in light of the paperwork, that is probably my fault that didn't get resolved in time, but could have been the snow and weather we had last week. But I'd like to postpone this just to the next meeting so we can get that paperwork in place and make sure we've got it.
Been moved by Councilman Everson and seconded by Councilman Corbin. Please vote. Passes 7-0.
Okay. Okay, case number 2 is 5329 Broadway Avenue. This is a secondary structure only. I did talk to the owner. He had his contractor to come out, but unfortunately the bad weather slowed things down. Also dealing with the construction that was going on right there at the corner by his house. He has asked for more time, and we have agreed on 45 days to go ahead on and finish the demolition. He's doing it with his own contractor.
This is separate from the... Ms. Fellison, you spoke to this guy, right? About the work that he's having done outside? No? Okay.
I'll make a motion to allow 45 more days.
Second. Been moved by Councilwoman Lynch and seconded by Councilman Everson. In discussion? Please vote. It passes 7-0.
Okay, case number 3 is 447 East 71st Street. And on this one, we had a cleanup that needed to be this fence row. The owner has gone down the fence row, and it's now at a minimum standard, so he's
Okay.
pretty much cleaned it off.
So do I need to just remove it
Right.
from the agenda, or what's the?
It's done. You can close it.
Okay.
You can give us permission to close it.
Okay. I'll make the motion to close that item.
Second.
Been moved by the Vice Chair, seconded by Councilman Corbin. In discussion? Please vote. That motion passes 7-0. No ABO appeals. Mr. Thompson?
Go ahead.
Call on order.
Any reports from any officers or boards or committees?
Just to remind everyone that public safety meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 2. Public safety meeting.
Check Sue's on that.
You're definitely on there this time, sir.
I know.
I know. I got it.
I mean, Jerry must have listened to my name and just put in every single
I had an infrastructure meeting today, didn't
Sorry. I had a phone call. I apologize. We did have an infrastructure committee meeting today. Went over a number of subjects to update timelines on, and we did receive the copy of the 2018 proposed streets plan. We talked about timeframes on the receipt of State of the Municipal Infrastructure Report, obviously with Robert's passing and other staff changes in engineering. We just asked a few questions about, if that was going to be on time, and we got some great answers from staff about what to look forward for there. We touched base on a number of ongoing projects just to get an update. And I know that council members have all received a copy of this roadway plan for 2018 this year. I would encourage you when you review it, one of the things that we pointed out during the meeting, the asphalt overlay just takes up a lot of visual space, so it's easy to pay attention to that. But sometimes there are large projects, but they may only be one line in the report. So look at it kind of closely so you don't overlook one of those type of projects. Also, there are, if you'll go into the past years, what they've done is they've indicated what things from a previous year maybe were postponed or are still ongoing. And so there may be something from 2016 or even 15 that maybe had to be deferred because of consent decree work or something like that, So don't just look at the 2018 portion and think that you've overlooked something that may be ongoing in your district. There are some things that are in the ongoing sections of the previous years. So, but we did get a timeline, and it looks like we'll be receiving legislation for this sometime next month. So do get a chance to go ahead and review that, so that we can get some feedback from everybody and be ready to consider that when it comes to us. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Lynch. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did omit. You may have received an email about these also, but let me just say real quickly, with regard to a couple of the other things that are on there, we are going to be receiving a bond update report in the next month or so. There is the end of February is that timeline that we expect to receive the State of Municipal Infrastructure, and then we will also be looking at the end of January to receive updates on the telecommunications infrastructure. There should be a proposed legislation sometime by the end of January, and then there'll be some comment period. So we should be looking to have that for consideration in early February. The administration has set a date for the public meeting for the bike infrastructure discussion. That's February 15th at Art Station at 5:30. And there were, I feel like there was another date here that I'm overlooking, but we'll follow up with some of those dates. But there's a lot of information coming out soon, and we appreciate all of that coming to us. But if you have questions about it, please feel free to let us know. We will schedule another infrastructure meeting for next month to make sure that we have a chance to talk about these things in further detail. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Lynch.
Yes, let me say that the rumor of my demise has been greatly exaggerated. I was a little down, but I'm not out. But sometimes people want to kick you when you're down. And so I saw last week, I think I got an email. I don't know if I should have taken it as a compliment or a curse or what. But somebody put in an article that I was going to be running for possibly a mayoral candidate in 2018. That is absolutely not true. I am running for re-election, a council person for District F, and so I wanted to set the record straight on that. So I don't want to run anybody's blood pressure up. Certainly not mine. So no, I will not be doing that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Slam. If that's it, anyone else? I'm sorry, Councilman Bradford.
Always down for additional comments? Yeah, I have three, Mr. Chairman. The first one in regards to sports train, and I got several calls, Mr. Washington, regarding. Now I know on Tuesday it was unequivocal that we couldn't proceed with transportation the roads were so bad. But on Wednesday, what's the protocol on your bus service?
So our safety department evaluates the road conditions and make a determination. And
Okay, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The safety department Our safety department looks at the road conditions and determine if the buses should go out. We also work very closely with the mayor's office on putting bus service out. Wednesday, we did put limited bus service out in the areas that we felt were safe. Thursday, we went back to full service.
Okay, and in our instruction meeting, the subject of how do we notify residents on, for instance, trash pickup. It was delayed at least 2 or 3 days, and people's. I'm getting back to you now.
Okay.
Again, not being able to ascertain the delays or the cancellation of trash pickup. Some people that was scheduled for Wednesday or Thursday was picked up on Saturday, and they stayed out on the street. And there was inquiry by Councilman Jenkins that can we put it on our website that these delays or these the status of pickup can occur, when they can occur. Mayor, you
If
ready
I
to speak
can,
on
yes,
that?
sir. Let me respond. We did everything we possibly could do to communicate that. We did press releases, we did social media, we put it on our website. We did all of that. We went to all the television stations, and we told people what was going on and why we could not, pick up on certain days and when we would be picking up. And so we made every attempt. I'm sure that there are many people who don't do social media because I really don't have time to do that, and I don't listen to all that gossip and nonsense on social media. But we did, TV, radio, newspaper, we put it on the website. I mean, we really, really tried hard because most of us that were in leadership positions, we worked every day. And we did put it out there. It just, sometimes people just don't get the message.
Yeah.
And then, the staff did work, and they worked through Saturday to try to get it picked up. But we did.
Yeah.
We made the attempt.
And thank you, Mayor. And my comment was not being critical. It was just
No, sir.
it was
No,
just
I-
being informational in the fact that there was people in my district that rely on bus service for their livelihood.
So one thing I can say from Sports Trans perspective is we also have what we call a text alert system. Whenever we do anything throughout our districts, for is it a public meeting or if we have route changes or route closures or whatever, we do send a text alert out. I know Councilwoman Lynch has been a part of those before. She's actually
I got
called.
a bunch of text messages.
We send text messages out every time we make a change or every time we say we're going to be closed. Even when we actually originally sent a text message out, we were going to be closed on Wednesday. We came back and said limited services. We also send maps out where you can click on a link and go straight to the map for the schedules that we're going to be running for limited services. So from our standpoint, everything that we felt like we could do, even on our social media pages through Facebook and Twitter, the mayor sent information out for us. So there was tons of information. Our website had it all posted on its homepage. So if they have just did anything to get Sport Trend.
Okay.
Even called the 1-800, you called our 221-RIDE number, it gave you information about it.
And again, since I don't frequent or use the service, I wasn't aware of the different avenues in which you got information out. But you feel very comfortable that you did everything you can to relay that communication.
Don't know anything else we could have done.
Okay. So let me ask you this, in reference to the same topic, with the change of apparatus in our bus service, there's a lot of situations to where people are at these substations where there's no bathroom facilities. How is that an issue that you've been hearing, or is that not
So
an issue?
we have heard that issue, and as you know, at our Southwest facility, we did just break ground on our building. And that building started about 2 weeks ago. That building is about a 120-day project. It was delayed this past week because of snow and ice. It wasn't our original intent to actually build facilities out there. But if you remember, one of the ordinances that we approved late last year was to take bus proceed funding and actually reallocate that to put a facility out at Southwest, and that's just what we did. And that project is already under construction.
Okay, so that's something that you are addressing in regards to.
And there are restroom facilities. I mean, we know it's not the best situation, but we were referenced at the very beginning, and one of the requests from several different areas was if we could at least put portalettes out there. So there are portalettes out there. It's not the best situation until we can get something else out there. But the building has started construction, and it will have public restrooms as well as a sports training side as well as a community policing office out there.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for you.
Yes, sir.
But I have one other issue, Mr. Chairman. Several months ago, Mayor, I inquired from the internal auditors as well as the city council clerk some information that related to the landfill, and it was brought to my attention that landfill gases was being produced and marketed, or there was some revenue generated from that. That somebody had said that you didn't get that information.
No, sir, I'm not.
I remember
See
hearing
anybody? Mike, do you know anything about?
Not by the look on his face.
Exactly what are we talking? Revenue from landfill?
No, from gases.
For the gas?
I wanted to amend what I asked. Now, Mr. Clerk, you did forward that to somebody, I guess.
I'm not sure that we did. We pulled the information that we had in our files and that the city had. Internal audit also looked at it and discussed it with some people, I think, in Public Works.
Okay.
But I don't think that we formally sent it to the mayor's office.
Okay. So what I'm asking that we do, Mayor, at this time, is that we would put in an official communication to your office.
Yes, sir.
And if you could respond in writing, I would appreciate it.
We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
Try and get those contracts.
And I think we're in a position to forward that in a more official way.
Okay.
Sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
That it, Councilman Ralph?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, one more? That was it?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk, you understand, we're going to forward it to the mayor in an official way, and then they're going to respond to those inquiries in writing.
Okay.
Okay.
Councilman Fleury?
Yes. Mr. Washington, I had a question in regards to how one gets text messages. Could you go into that just a little bit? How is that? Because I didn't receive any during the storm weather, and I had several people to contact me, but everything was worked out. But
So there's a
is there something on your website or
There's
something?
two phases the way. You can go through our sporttrainbus.com website, and right at the top it says text alerts. You can sign up through that portal.
Okay.
Or if you ever go out and text one of our bus stop numbers or any of our locations, it automatically enrolls you in that service. So anytime we send out any information, detours, anything, you're able to get that. And, even with trash pickup, our last text message that we sent out, we actually communicated about trash pickup will start on Wednesday as well. The same information the mayor office communicated.
Okay, in regards to the restroom, are you saying that you have portalettes or something out there?
We do have portalettes at the Southwest Hub. We do.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That it, Councilman Jenkins?
Okay, so now, okay, you do not need to get up again.
Yes, he does. I have a
Okay, but, okay, I'm going to say, so in our first meeting today, since Mark was in there, I had a few little IT things to discuss. And this is, I'm unfamiliar with some text message that's going to tell me about, did you not just say that there's a way to get a text message that tells you when garbage pickup is going to be?
They did it from what train did it, just as a reminder, just being helpful. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Well, okay, so I got a little enthusiastic today in our infrastructure committee because Mark happened to walk in and there was a lot, obviously we had a lot of changes over the holidays with garbage, and not anybody's, I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong. It was all great, prudent decisions. But what came to mind is how underutilized our city's website is for passing what I would say fluid information. I.e., and I'm not criticizing Africa for her press releases, but in today's age, that may hit 1% of our citizens, maybe 2% if the person's writing the right TV show and the TV show says it, or they read the paper, or whatever the deal is. But people called me over that whole holiday Okay, now what are we doing about recycling? When's garbage? When's this? Now, I probably could determine the answers in most cases. But the fact that I was getting so many calls meant that there are a lot of people out there that were unclear. And I would love to see us being able to incorporate kind of these fluid situations with our website so that people's first, before calling anybody on the staff, they could just say, well, before I ask a silly question, I'm going to go to shreveportla.gov, and on there it's going to say, Monday's garbage pickup this week will be Tuesdays, or this is Blue Week recycling. Now, how people know about the blue and red thing, that's something that's in further works. But something very clearly on the city's website, or even a page of current updates. And yeah, I'm not the most tech-savvy guy, but I mean, that's the obvious place that if I was looking for it, I would go. And if you Google right now recycling on our city's website, you do not get the answer of whether it's the blue week or the red week. Now, you do get the map, and then if you thought that the blue color made it clear to you that you were getting recycling, and I know it's part of a bigger discussion, but this is just an example that I have. And they do, on the garbage website, they do a year calendar, and in there it does say Monday or Martin Luther King Day is Monday, so this week, and it sits there for the year. And I'm not saying it's just there's enough, I'm going to use these fluid changes that people, I don't know why we don't incorporate some of those late-breaking newses or whatever on a daily basis of what's going on in the city, as opposed to what is predominantly, has a lot of space devoted to, I'm going to say, promoting the city of Shreveport. There's a thing being promoted right now that's in September of 2018, the Small Business Forum. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Small Business Forum, but I think the people that were looking at that website over the last 2 weeks were not going there for the Small Business Forum. That's my comment.
Okay. And let me just say, we do have that information. And if you're saying when we have emergency type situations, we do put that on the website. Do you want to respond? Come on up, Ms. Price.
Now hold on. Okay, let me say this.
You're saying on the front page. As soon as you
I'm
open-
saying, okay, so Mayor, I don't want, before Africa gets up here and explains us, we go to one thing or another.
But I still want her to respond.
Yeah, no, I do. I was
Okay.
saying before that. I would like somebody with 2 keystrokes to tell me where on the city's website whether we're blue or red this week on pickup.
It's on the home page under recycle, and
Okay.
it's been there since we put it up. So there was a map that we got from
Okay.
from Republic, and they did a color-coded map.
I'm well aware of that. That's what I just said. But what it doesn't say is what color we are this week.
So during the
There is a
storm,
map.
just so you know, during the storm, anytime a press release is sent out, it's automatically posted on the website. During the storm, everything was posted on social media as well. So it was on Facebook as well as Twitter. If you were a customer on a certain day, it told you which day you were being picked up. De Niro also mentioned, Mr. Washington mentioned that they took that same information and put it out for us too, for anybody who was riding buses. So obviously I'm not answering your question. You want to ask it again and I could give it another shot?
I'm going to ask this very clearly. Let's
Okay.
assume I am on the home page. Okay? I'm on the home page. If it says recycling on my home page, I am missing it on the one I'm looking at right here.
It's in the
And
left.
it should be to the left. I'm not looking.
It says recycling changes.
But I see what it's showing red and blue, but to the person who's at home looking at
But
it,
I'm-
they don't know whether they're red or they're
I'm fixing to show you how. Click on recycling changes.
Okay.
Which is on the home page, on the left bottom. Bottom left.
Apparently he's not on the home page.
And it's going to be on the home page.
Okay. This is where I'm on the
So what else do
business.
we need to do to ensure that people go to the home page? Is that something we need to do?
Well, the first week when we changed it, we put it in the, we put it in the carousel.
Okay, recycling
After we'd been up
changes.
there, we moved it.
I found it
Okay,
today.
click on recycling changes, Councilman.
Okay.
And if you scroll down about halfway through, there's two places actually.
Recycling schedule.
The map will show up without having to click anything else. But if you click on 2018 recycling schedule, that will give you the entire schedule for 2018 and tell you whether or not you are a blue or a red pickup day.
He's what he's saying. This is what he's saying. Okay.
2018 schedule.
I'm on
I
the
got you.
tab now.
Okay.
I'm on the tab.
Go back.
And if we
But-
have emergencies, then we do something else.
Okay,
Sure.
so,
But that's the routine.
okay, so I understand that, and that's been added since we had this discussion.
It was
last-
added about
When we started it.
2 weeks ago.
Okay,
The 2018 map, we had October, November, and December for
Of
the end of
last-
last year, and we added this one this year.
okay. I go back to my comments.
Oh, was you trash?
So, last week, it's not an emergency. Garbage I would not put in the emergency category. Okay, I mean,
Unless it's
emergency.
said nothing for a couple of weeks.
Okay, so, on here, where would I know? Would I be clicking on News Flash with the intent of finding a press release?
We put it out on social media and sent it to the media because we put it in different places. I couldn't count on people just going to the website. So we put it on the Facebook page, we put it on Twitter. Every time we had updates and changes, we put it out there. So, and we tried to make it clear, if you're a Monday customer, I want to say Monday was picked up on Wednesday. Tuesday was picked up on
Thursday.
Thursday. Thursday was picked up on Friday, Saturday. And we had the media posting it out there because I get their alerts every time they post
And I
what we
think
send.
That's the disconnect. We would like to drive people to the city website.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to say this. If you're,
You,
I think that there should be something, me, Oliver Jenkins, personally, I don't think everybody has to share my views, but there should be something on here that makes it very clear if something is not, I think there should be a thing of Blue Week on the front page, because that's where people are going to go. But, and I also think every time we change it to a Tuesday, even if it's because of MLK or what, even if we can forecast, it should be clearly indicated by some banner on the front page.
so you're saying you would
That's
like
my
it to
proposal.
run in the carousel, which we did
Carousel's
that in
your
the
little
beginning,
place where we got the,
where it switches
the
out, you
banner
get 4 or
dealer.
5 different things, which is what we did in the beginning. And after it was going on for a while, we took it down from that spot. We can put it back
We can
there.
put it back, yeah. And you know, we
can
can't
work on that.
forecast about emergencies and weather, storms like that. I mean, it's hard to say whether or not, like this past week, meteorologists don't always give us the accurate stuff. So what we do is we follow the weather. We knew Tuesday was a wash. We knew Monday was a holiday. But we did start picking up, was it Wednesday afternoon?
I'm not, okay, I may be saying this incorrectly. What I'm saying is
Maybe I'm just not understanding.
Monday morning or Sunday night, this should say, this would be my proposal, I'm just using this, I recognize it's personal. That instead of looking at whatever we're looking at there, it should say, Monday's garbage will be picked up on Tuesday, because we knew it was a holiday.
Right.
We can do that.
Monday morning, when we knew we had canceled Tuesday garbage, it would say, understand due to the weather,
Got that.
we're now, and I'm not,
And we can do that.
We can do that.
I
The
just want to make it more interactive so that people, before they call for
They're gonna
any
call
of
you
us,
anyway.
they're going to go look, or I can try to tell people, from now on, when you have questions about recycling, go to the homepage. It's going to be very, very clear.
You're going to get the calls anyway, but we're going to do it because I think it's a great idea, and I think the staff thinks
We'll be
it's a great
glad to-
idea. But you're going to still get the calls.
Yeah.
We get the calls, and I don't care what we do, we get the calls. Let me just put it like that. And so We just address the calls, and we tell them where to go, and then we give them the answer, and we find out, so.
I will tell you, just using the report of concern, I probably have reduced the amount of calls that I get by 2/3, because I've now told so many people so many times their first response is, I put it in the report of concern 2 weeks ago and they haven't fixed it.
Let me say this, Mr. Councilman, and I would encourage you to voice this to your constituents. Website, if our IT department is gone, it's challenging to have something put up on the website. I would encourage, and I think like the mayor said, we'll certainly do what we can to forecast in advance and have something up there. But during an emergency event, Twitter and Facebook, she can do that from any location. Sitting with the mayor in a conference room, she can broadcast stuff on Twitter immediately. We don't have to call IT and say, hey, put this file up on the website. But I would encourage, along with what you're recommending, I would recommend everyone be on the city's Twitter account, because we sent a number of messages through Twitter that were real time, as well as the Facebook account. And so those are updated, and they can be updated from in a meeting that Mrs. Price is sitting in. She's taking directive from the mayor right then. And if we know something as it changes with the weather, we can get that information out immediately, where a website change takes a little bit of time. We have to send it to IT. They have to upload it on the website. There's a little bit of a delay. A Twitter feed is instant.
Also, we can definitely put it in the carousel, and I would encourage people to sign up. You can get RSS feeds, so anytime there's something new on the website, now that's a lot of stuff, you can get that. As well, and also, I send to you guys, I think you get the any changes, the releases. I post those on the city's website. You could copy and paste that if I need to send that in another format. I know you've asked before, Council Lady Lynch, another format, so she can post it on our page. I can do that as well. But anytime I'm sending something to the public, you get it at the same time. But we can encourage people to sign up. Anytime there's a change on the website, again, that would be a lot of hits to your phone, but they would know that, something had changed on the website.
Well, like I said, because I asked IT today, and he said, we have it set up so all the departments can do it themselves. Now, of course,
no, that's correct. That's correct.
Not the homepage, though.
Okay.
Not the homepage. They can.
I got that.
SPAR, Shelley be putting everything on there for SPAR, and you wouldn't even know there was anybody else.
Okay.
There, so.
And right. I just would like us to try to funnel more of the questions or simple answers to our website.
And we want to do that
Absolutely.
so that we can serve our citizens.
Absolutely.
We want whatever ideas you have, we'll try to make them work if it's possible.
Certainly.
I love my report. So, thank you very much.
That's it. Thank you. I have an idea that Mr. Washington will need to come back up. Councilwoman Lynch.
Oh, yeah. I do have a question dealing with sport training.
Let me ask this poor man all the questions here.
Getting your exercise today, Ms. Washington.
You want everybody to see that polka dot
Used to be on
green.
the bus.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait a minute. I was putting myself together here. The bathrooms at the bathrooms. Now, when do we anticipate them being completed? The restrooms at
Anticipation is May. We're just saying
May?
at this point in time, summer 2018, because there are always delays in construction projects. So we don't want to put any false hopes out. So we're just saying summer 2018 until we get an official date. The one thing we did, and you did request that, based on some of your constituents, that we didn't have an ADA restroom out there. We have fixed that issue out there.
Okay, great.
There is now an ADA restroom located at that facility.
What about that? How many are there?
There are two restrooms out there.
Okay. And then the cleaning schedule, is it,
Cleaning schedule for that facility, that facility is cleaned 3 times a day.
okay, I can't even hardly say the word porta potties because I
You've
just would
expressed that
rather
to me.
go behind a tree than use a porta potty. I just can't deal with that. Okay. Okay. Oh, and then I wanted to tell you, Councilman Fleury.
Yes.
Okay, so what you do, and you know I'm not tech savvy, But Mr. Washington isn't it one of those things across the street somewhere near here? And you just put your phone up to it some kind of way, and it'll start sending you text messages from Sport Training. So you can go.
And we normally try to use that as information.
Yeah.
Same thing as
Y'all
Africa
may-
said. When we're putting out information
Yeah.
about Sport Trend.
Let him get your
whatever
phone
the-
and do it like he did. Like he just.
I mean, if you had our text alerts during that storm, I mean, you probably got 20 to
Yeah, there were
25 text
quite a-
messages
there
from
were
us
quite a
that
few.
dealt with all Sport Trend and city information. So we try to.
That'd been
be
a
a
good
part.
place right there on my little, what is it called?
So-
I get the mayor stuff and I share it. And I
Right.
forward to everybody. That's what
And if
I
they followed our Facebook page at Sport Trend. If you go look now, all the mayor's press releases are actually posted on our Facebook page as well. So we all work together to try to make sure that we're communicating the message out there.
But if he'll you could get his phone for him and put it up there for him, because I mean I wouldn't have. I mean if you told me to do that, I probably wouldn't have done it. So somebody would have to actually do it for me. But so thank you for doing that for me that one time, and I did get quite a few alerts. So if nobody called me about it, and I have quite a few bus riders, so. You know, I would say that you all did a good job because I didn't get any calls about Sport Train, bus service. But the alerts were just coming, they were coming. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Washington.
One more, Mr. Washington. One more.
Make him sit down again. Come on, you wait. Too quick.
I mean, because he had a big party this weekend with his dad's 70th birthday party. I saw that.
I did.
And his dad and I grew up together. But anyway, what's the status as relates to the Greyhound bus coming over?
So we actually had a conference call at 2 p.m. today with Greyhound. Greyhound is shooting at this point in time for April 1st as their move-in date.
Not April. I mean, February?
No, April 1st.
Oh, April 1st.
April 1st. So April, they have a few things they need to do as far as their build-out process. It's actually getting their schedules aligned to come into the facility, and they're shooting for April 1st. Amtrak three-way service is scheduled to be there on March 5th. So that is the goal and timeline for those partners at this point.
Anything else for Mr. Washington? That's it. Madam Mayor, if I could briefly see for 45 seconds Ms. Regal Wood and Ms. Featherston, my favorite, and Mr. Green for 45 seconds after this. Yes, sir. That's it. If there's nothing else, this meeting adjourned.